ability to eat lightning and crap thunder? Or is that eat thunder and crap lightning? I don't really remember. But I do remember this amazingly great game on the Super Nintendo, Super Punch-Out. In Super Punch-Out, the player controls Little Mac as he fights his way to become the World Video Boxing Association champion.
Yay! Fight!
Players fighting from a behind-the-back perspective must knock out their opponent in 3 minutes to win. Players can launch jabs, hooks and uppercuts against their opponents, as well as block, dodge and duck opponents' attacks. The opponent can deflect punches, so players must aim at the opponent's open spot, wherever the gloves are not, to connect. Depending on the opponent's stance, they will guard themselves differently, so players need to use the correct punches. Repeated hits in succession causes the player's power meter to fill up as the player lands punches against the opponent, and it goes down as the player gets hit. When the power meter fills up completely, the player will be able to launch knockout punches such as uppercuts, hooks and rapid punches. These punches have a slight delay in execution, but they cause more damage to the opponent. Players can also build power as the match progresses, as indicated by the background colour behind the player's face on the upper left corner of the screen, which goes from blue to green to yellow to red. The player reaches power up status when the background colour reaches red. During this status, the player's punch speed and power increase. They lose their power up status if they are knocked down. The controls are nice and simple. One button for left punches and another for right. If you push up and punch, you land a shot to the face. When not pressing any buttons or direction, the player guards against body attacks. And when you press up, he blocks headshots. Left and right obviously moves the player in those directions to avoid getting hit. This game was a perfect example of what Nintendo are all about as a game developer, producing good, clean, family-friendly games that are not overly complicated to play and suitable for all ages and gaming abilities. It's no walkover though. As the player progresses through the ranks, each opponent gets harder and will take a few goes before you can defeat them, or learn their attacks, as this is one game that requires a certain degree of memorisation. Level memorisation can be annoying, but in this game it's not, as you're only learning your opponent's attack patterns and need not worry about enemy placement and the like. The sound effects do their job well. They're not outstanding or anything, but the smack sound when you hit your opponent in the jaw and the deep thud sound when you land an uppercut are satisfying enough. The music is well suited to the game, although it doesn't change from opponent to opponent. It does change when you progress through the ranks and helps keep the flow and rhythm of the bout. The visuals on this game are really good. Lots of big, well detailed characters to square up against, although a lot of the sprites are reused but in a palette swap move. The animation and facial expressions as your opponent is dizzied are done in the typical Nintendo humour. You really can't take this game too seriously, but then it's not a serious game and shouldn't be compared to other boxing games of the era, even though it does wipe the floor with those ones. As you would expect with a not too serious boxing game, the opponents do not exactly fight fair, with Dragon Chan using the ropes to deliver a flying kick and masked muscle spitting in your face that leaves this pixelated effect on the screen when it connects. But these cheat moves leave the opponent open to a counter attack if you get the timing just right, and if you do manage it, you can deliver a knockdown blow. There is also a time attack mode to see how quickly you can defeat an opponent, which adds to the replay and longevity of the game. And with 4 levels and 4 fighters in each level, the game does provide a suitable enough challenge that should ensure repeated playthroughs as you look to improve your ability. The game was slated ever so slightly for not having a 2-player mode, but after about 20 years, someone discovered a cheat that allows for this 2-player mode. Although 2-player games, when one player is viewed behind the back, are never that enjoyable. And I'm looking at you, Wrestle War, on the Mega Drive when I say that. I picked up this game on UK release in early 1995 from Virgin Megastore in Glasgow. It was one of the cheaper Super Nintendo games at $34.99, and an absolute steal at that price, as me and my mates would have a right laugh playing this game and trying to better each other's times. It was just a really addictive and simple game to play. I can barely remember this one time where me and my mates had been to the pub for a few libations, and a squad of us came back to mine, half cut, and tried to play this game. I think this may have been one of Gabby J's only victories, but it was such a laugh at the time. In closing, Super Punch-Out is such a great game to play, and is definitely a game you should have in your collection. All that's left for me to say is, if you like this video, then give me a thumbs up and a sub, or maybe even a comment or two below. That's all from me, folks. Thanks for watching.